Let's start. We're gonna start class now.
Okay.
Hi. And if you haven't clicked in with your card, do it at the end of the class. So we're gonna start sitting on your roller. And then go ahead and lay yourself down here. So your tail is at one end of the roller and your head will be supported on the other. If someone's watching this and they don't have a roller at home, of course I would recommend getting one, but you can also do this exercise just on the mat. So however, if you're on the roller, your feet should be about 4 to 5 inches apart, hip width. Sometimes if you feel unsteady, a ball between the thighs helps you organize the inside line of your legs. But you're looking up at the ceiling, your arms extend out, back of the hands to the floor. And if you're on the roller, you rock a little bit from side to side. Keeping the hands grounded here so you get that big pull in the chest. Tipping from one side to the other. And letting your body sink down and around in a curve. You're going to take on the shape of the roller and then let it massage out any place on your back that's touching. So the waist typically wouldn't be touching, and the back of the neck, the upper curve would not be touching. But you should feel this massage at the base of the skull, between your blades, and at your sacrum. And also really enjoy that stretch in the chest. Now come center, and we'll inhale to lift the arms up. I should say if you have any difficulty balancing, just take your feet wider apart. If you have the ball between your thighs, you can just keep the knees in and angle the lower legs out. So we inhale as we lift the arms up and hug the air above the chest, and we exhale as we pull the arms open slowly, out and down, wrapping the blades around the roller beneath you. Inhale to rise, and then exhale to release slowly. The arms lift again, coming up, and a big hug above your chest, and exhale. So opening. Move a little bit slower than you would like to, so you feel the weight of your arms being picked up by your muscles, and then go down a little slower than you would like to, so don't just fall into gravity. Use a little bit of resistance to go down with control. And again, you come up, use your full inhale to rise, and your full exhale to descend. From here, we'll lift the arms up and then point the fingers to the ceiling, palms face in, and we keep the palms reaching up, fingers reach for the ceiling. Lift your hands up as high as they'll go, shrug your shoulders off the roller. Exhale, melt the shoulder blades down, embrace the roller beneath you. And again, the arms rise. And then exhale and sink. So we're looking here for shoulder blade protraction, lifting the blades away from the floor, and then retraction, sinking them down towards the ground. And this is excellent for releasing tension out of your neck, out of your upper back. You feel the stretch across your back as the arms lift high, and then the release across the front of the chest as the shoulder blades melt. Gliding again, shrug the shoulders up, and then sink them low. We'll do one more like this. Exhale, let the blades fall towards the ground, and inhale, turn the palms forward. Exhale, lengthen the arms at your side. Inhale, the arms lift to the ceiling, and exhale back by your ears. And then reverse. Inhale, lift the arms in parallel in unison. Exhale all the way down. So the arm stroke 2 arcs in the air. Keep the symmetry here. If one arm has more mobility than the other, try to match it to the one that's less mobile. It's important when you're going back with the arms. It's typically where you'll feel the difference if you have one. But you don't want to train asymmetrically. If you train symmetrically to the tighter arm, eventually that will catch up. Another option would be if you knew that your right arm was more flexible, you could just do more on the left side on its own until that increased the flexibility so that the two would match up when you move. So now we lift the arms up and exhale and sweep back here. The abdominal wall engaged, so there's no additional arch in the spine, and then press the arms along at your side. Bend your elbows here and take your hands to your shoulders with the elbows in by your waist. We circle the elbows up, out, wide, around, down, and then in. To draw a perfect circle on each side of your body, try to match them up. And again, you would go with it. There's a discrepancy in the size of the circle that you're drawing. Try to match the smaller circle initially, and then gradually that size of the circle will increase to match the other arm. So you inhale to start the circle, exhale to complete it. be aware that there's a rotation of the arm going on the socket. So you're not just holding the orientation of the arm the same as you circle it around, but it spirals in, then it spirals out, and then it spirals in again. So allow that rotation to happen. This is exactly what happens on the hip joint. And it gives you the best fit into the joint surfaces. Now let's reverse the circle. As you go down, out, wide around and lift, and then lower the elbows down. So this is great for your rotator cuff. It's great to release tension out of the upper back and the neck. Hopefully you feel this also, that deep tissue massage between the shoulder blades. And of course, it gives you a chance to practice your balance. One more circle here. And then extend the arms forward, reach out long to your fingertips, full arm circles. The arms go up and then reach back. Exhale, circle wide around and forward, sweep the arms forward, then turn the palms down. You lift the arms up and press them behind you. Reach out again, palms stay to the ceiling. At the end, rotate palms to the floor. Slide the arms up and back, press to the air like you're moving through water, and then cut the arms through that water. Try to feel that texture of the air as you move through it. Press back, stretch, the blades fall towards your waist, and circle wide around and forward here. Beautiful, reverse. So palms up, circle back. Exhale, dive the arms forward and down. Press the air out of your lungs. And you have a big expansive movement here as the arms circle back and reach behind you. Exhale, pull the belly deep on the exhale. Engage the lower abdominal wall, and then you circle and stretch. As the arms get past the shoulders, you probably need to lift them a little off the ground, just so it's more comfortable in the joint. And we'll do one more in this direction. Go wide, reach back. Exhale and push the air out of the lungs, push the arms down to the sides. The next one here, we'll go into diamond arms. So you take the thumbs together and the index fingers together, and you keep the hands in line with your forearm. And we bring the arms above your collarbones and then swing them back. Press lightly through the thumbs and the fingers from one hand to the other to firm up the inner arm. Then lift the arm and then bring the shape forward and down and lift the hands over your belly. So the arms go up to 90 degrees, and then you take that diamond shape back behind you. Bring your face up inside a picture frame, and then reverse. The arms slide forward, and then exhale all the way forward and down. And again, lifting arms forward, exhale, press it back. And feel the stretch of your chest. Feel the length in the waist. You can lower the arms here, down, float the hands right over the pelvis. One more, bring that up and back. Exhale, forward and down. Then let's bring the arms down to the side and just slide off of your roller. And now here, we'll take it across your back. So it's going to be perpendicular to you and to your mat. And then you can slide back a little bit. We'll take it right under sort of the tip of the shoulder blades. And you're sort of lounging here, supported by the roller. Bring your hands to support the base of your skull. Now with your feet grounded, inhale, arch back, let the chest rise and fall back into your hands. Elbows can spread wide and drop the elbows towards the floor. Exhale, lift chin to chest. You can use the hands to support that movement. Exhale all the way forward towards your abs. Pull the elbows down and in towards the navel. And then you take it back. Now, as your eyes go up across the ceiling and behind you, think of the tail dropping down to increase the arch in your waist. And then as you lift your head up and tilt the chin to the chest, curl the tail up. So again, you're tilting both ends of the spine forward or towards each other in reflection. And then as we go back, do get that massage into the scapula and behind the back, as long as it's comfortable for your neck. The hands support the weight of your head and give you control here. And then chin to chest. Exhale and pull the belly down. Curve the waist towards the ground. Pull the elbows in and down towards the navel again. One more. So arching back here. And then exhale, curving forward and flexion. Now we'll press the feet firmly into the ground. Support your head again, either overlap or intertwine fingers here under the skull. Pick up your hips, and we're going to push and pull. Forgot I was wearing a hood. If you have a hood or long hair, gather it up. So we're going to slide the forward out over the toes, and then push up the feet to move here. So you're just going up and down along the length of your rib cage, the thoracic spine. You don't want to go into the neck, and you do not want to go below the ribs. You can add flexion and extension here. So as the knees go forward over the toes, boost your hips up, let your head fall back. Go to the very top of the shoulders, the back of the neck, and curling the head up as you push away from your feet. You round forward and up into flexion. And again, so a couple of these. As the hips lift, the head drops. So you're in extension of the spine when the roller is all the way up by your shoulders. And then your flexion of the spine, curving the head up and bending your spine as you go down towards the base of the ribs. Let's just do one more. So you get a lot of support here from your legs. You want to actively push your feet into the ground and then actively push your hips up with your glutes. And then push off the ground, round your back here, curve it towards the mat, and then go ahead and lower the hips down. All right, good. Hi, everyone who came in since we started. Good to see you guys. So here we go. We're going to put this aside and start with hundreds. So you can start sitting near the front of your mat, taking your hands either to your thighs or more advanced, arms forward, curl the tail up, press the hips down, press the sacrum down, your waist, the base of the rib cage to the tip of the blades. And then pull the legs into your chest. You can use your hands to lift a little bit deeper into the curve. Extend the legs, extend the arms, start pumping, inhaling and exhaling. The arms reach long, they stretch forward. You can change the angle of your leg to a more challenging height as long as you only feel it in your belly and you don't feel it in your back. As soon as you feel your back arch and you're out of control, pull everything in. It's okay to pull the knees in. It's okay to lift the legs. It's also okay to lower them if you have control and you can go a little bit lower. But don't sacrifice the lift of the upper abdominal curve. If you take the legs too flat and you lay your shoulders down, you've gone too far with the legs. We're stretching across the room with the energy pouring out of the fingertips and the soles of the feet. Squeeze the legs together here. And this is basically considered a breathing exercise, right? As well as a core strengthener. So you want to take a deep breath in as you push the air into the lungs and a deep breath out as you empty them. All right, and then fold everything in, rest down, and rock your hips side to side. We move next into the roll up. So we'll extend the legs forward. Remember, if you're still new at this, you can always add a TheraBand around your feet. Otherwise, extend the legs forward. We lift the arms up and then take them back as far as you can go without additional arch in your spine. Bring the arms up, weight the shoulder blades, lift the head, neck, and shoulders. Exhale and then move your legs. Curve your spine here. Bend it forward. You lift the belly into the back of your body. And now you press the legs together and into the way as you start to pull back. So the arms higher is more difficult. The arms lower allows more control. But going away from center is a real thing when you're moving. And then you stretch the arms back. So you can come up again. Of course, it's harder to come off the ground than it is to go down into it. And then we're diving forward here. Curve the back, round your spine here. Suck the belly back. You're thinking of a C shape in your spine. And then bring it back down. Lower to the ground. Release on down. Perfect control. Every vertebra flows one after the next. Let's do one more. So to inhale, exhale before you need it. That's sort of like your power boost to come up. As you go forward, the collarbones are still wide, so the shoulders do not hunch up by your ears, but melt down your back. And then let's bring it back down. Curve your spine into the ground, sink all the way down here, and then we can circle the arms around either side. So we're using a TheraBand next for your single leg circles. I forgot mine at the far end of my mat. So come up and grab it if you need to do that. And then you can put the band on the ball of the foot and the arch of your right foot. Roll down with control. And then we lift the leg up to get whatever kind of a stretch feels good for you. Be sure it doesn't feel too much at your sits bone or at the back of the knee. With With the leg up in the air, just do a soft point and flex, heel ball toe ball heel a couple of times, get some stretch and work into the calf muscle. And then the elbows are reaching forward towards your hips. Soft point with the foot, we begin with circles. Inhale across the body. Stay there, keep the hips grounded, go low, out to the side, around and lift to the ceiling. And reach again, circle here. Exhale all the way around and up to the ceiling again. Start with a deep, short inhale and then a long, slow exhale. The opposite side of the body stays heavy. So the right side is grounded before you reach left. The left side presses it to the floor before you reach right. Let's do one more circle in this direction. Take it over and then exhale all the way around and up to the ceiling here. Pause and reverse. The right leg moves out to the right and then exhale forward, around and down. Drag it over, lift it up high and reach again. Circling here, pushing forward with the foot. Keep pressing the elbows into the mat. Keep the upper arm steady. The forearms are going to rotate around here, sort of following the line of the leg and the band. We'll do one last one. A short, deep inhale and then a long, slow exhale. So you feel the abdominal engagement here. Really deep in your body, a deep inner corset. From the top, we take both ends of the band in the right hand. Left hand can assist if needed. And then the left arm goes out to the side. You can look at that hand onto the ceiling. Pull the right leg out to your side without tipping the hip. And then we're going to rock the legs just slightly here. You don't want something crazy. You just want a nice little stretch and release in these upper inner thigh muscles. The elbow is going to act sort of as your kickstand to support the weight and length of your leg. Exhale, we pick the leg up to the ceiling, switch hands. Cross it over, extend the right arm, and this time we lift the hip, waist, and ribs, and keep the shoulder blade down. Look over your right arm and stretch the hand away from your chest. And once the leg is really stretching for the wall, you're going to rotate the leg internally so the knee and the toes point down. And you'll feel a bigger stretch diagonally across your outer thigh and into the glute. Exhale, we come down from the left shoulder to the waist to the right hip. That lifts the foot up to the ceiling. Give it another little stretch. Check out the hamstring length that maybe you've acquired since we started. And then pull the knee into your chest. The band comes off. Just hug it in tight. And then release that leg forward. It goes straight out of the hip socket. Maybe both hands, one to each hip, and kind of be sure the hips are level. And let both legs rotate externally, and then just feel the difference right to left. Right? Length, amount of connection to the ground, energy, just feeling of relaxation as well. It's not only the leg, it's in the whole side of your body. So now we're going to the left. And you can pull the leg in, hug it tight, and then we place the band, the foot of the band on the ball of the foot in the arch. So lift the leg up to the ceiling. Stretch high here. And of course, if you're tight, the knee bends. Just try to have the foot sort of directly over the sits bone. Elbows reach forward down by your waist so that you feel like your neck is long. And we start inhaling to point, exhaling to flex the foot here up in the air. Just double check that your right leg hasn't drifted laterally. You want it to be directly in line with the socket. So it's closer to center than maybe you think. All right, then we leave this in a soft point and lift it a little higher, and we circle. Inhale across the body, keep that left hip grounded, exhale all the way around, now the right hip presses into the ground. And we circle again. The circles can start small as you figure out how to stabilize your core here on the mat, and then get larger and larger as you sort of develop the coordination that's needed for this, or just the ability to focus. So you stretch and go long, pull the leg around to the side, push the other side of the body into the mat. So as much as we're thinking about lengthening the leg and opening the circle, we're also thinking about stabilizing the spine, the pelvis on the mat. So we come to the top and reverse. Exhale, rotate out to the side, but it comes low, it's a neutral. Inhale, rotate across the body to neutral at the top. So again, here's that rotation of the thigh bone on the hip socket, just like we rotated the arm bone of your wrist on the shoulder joint socket. And really enjoy the stretch and also the feeling of work in your obliques as you hold the pelvis grounded here. Short breath in and long deep exhale out. Get that inner connection here, the transversus pulls tight to force the exhale, to force the air out of your lungs. We'll come all the way to the top and pause. And now the left hand gets to hold the strap, the right arm can extend. And you hold the hip down as you take the leg out to the side. That's it, that's good. And then we'll rock the leg a little bit here. It's a gentle movement back and forth, just like you're teasing the muscles into a little bit more openness, a little bit more length. Exhale to pull the leg up to the ceiling, switch hands, and now you cross it over. Extend the arm, look out at the extended left arm and reach through the fingertips. The leg pulls, of course, as close to your shoulder and chest as possible in that direction. And then you'll rotate the leg internally, spiral the thigh bone, the femur, so that you can bring the knee down and the toes closer to the floor. The chest is parallel to the ceiling. The hips are attempting to be parallel to the wall, to your side. Exhale, and pull down from the right shoulder to the waistline to the left hip. To lift the left leg up, give it an extra little stretch. And then fold the knee in tight, place the band to the side, hug it in, and then of course you want to release the left leg, compare the sensation, the length, the weight in both of your legs. Then you let them even, should feel great in your hips, great in your back. So let's pull the right leg in now and roll forward and up for rolling with the ball. Come on up. Option to use the ball between your thighs. And here. You can start with your hands to the shin. If you want something a little easier, if this is newer to you, bring your hands to your thighs. So you rock back, lifting your feet up off the ground, you're balanced on your sacrum, and you curve your waist back, you pull the chest forward and down, like the ball. Inhale, we lift the tail in the air, and we go back to shoulder blades. Exhale, we come forward and up to your balance. If you don't have enough padding, get a couple more mats. And the orange ones have a little more padding than the yoga mats do. So it's important in Pilates for these rolling exercises that you do have enough padding under your back. You want this to be smooth. That also means you have to tuck and think of an upper curl before you even start your roll. And as you roll, try to keep the right and left side equally engaged. So you roll exactly straight down the midline and exactly straight up. We don't want the sled like steering off the cliff onto one side. So you roll back here, head and neck stay off the ground, exhale, pull it forward. And let's just do one more. Pull here and exhale out. And then we put the ball to the side. And we're working now into, right, so much better, right? We've got enough padding. Yeah. So right hand to right ankle, left hand to the right knee, both hands on the shin. And you can pick that leg up, pull it in. And we're going to push forward with the arm or with the leg into the arms. Stretch the other leg out as a counterweight to go down into your upper arm curl. This is the first of the ab series, the single leg stretch. So the leg pulls in tight. Inhale, you switch the legs. Left hand to left ankle and switch again, right hand to right ankle. So we switch and switch. The leg stretches out of the joint and then pulls in tight to the chest. Use the connection of your hand to your leg and your leg up into your hand to activate the arms and to engage deeper into your core. You'll feel this in your center. And just keep your gaze forward and down to help protect the neck. We'll end with the left leg in, pull the right leg in to meet it, and stay here, one hand to the chin, shins parallel to the ground. Inhale, arms and legs stretch to the sky. So move the arms around as you embrace the legs in and reconnect to find that upper ab curl. So you reach and then you embrace. As you advance, the arms and legs stretch further and lower and you pull them in. But again, you have to choose the position of your arms and legs so that you do not fall out of your upper curl. We just go for one more. Circle and hug it in. And now for scissors, right leg up. You can come up a little higher, look down at your midline. Other leg is forward. Inhale to switch. And exhale to switch. The legs draw beautiful arcs in the air here. You're reaching out as far as you can and then reaching up as high as you can. The arcs help you by connecting your chest into a little higher upper curl. Gaze stays focused down in the midline. We'll do one more and with the left. Both legs lift and take your hands behind your head and pull the head up, the elbows down and in. Squeeze the legs together for double leg lower lift. The legs reach forward. Make that sort of a small movement, a careful movement, and then exhale to lift the legs. Remember that your legs are attached by the deep flexor muscles, which are attached directly to your spine, and the intervertebral discs, right? So we don't want to do this without thought. There's a chance to really be mindful and pay attention to what your body is saying. And say, okay, maybe go a little further, but if I do, I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to think about how far I can go and still feel good tomorrow, right? So we're pressing it out. Exhale, sink the belly, lift with control. And also by doing it this slowly, you can tell how your body feels. Like you can really be paying attention to the signals it gets you. You're not just throwing the legs up and down sort of randomly. So let's fold the knees in. We've done 4 of the 5 without a break. That's quite good for this early in this session. And we're going to move next into the elbow to knee. So bring your hands together behind your head, pull yourself up to your upright curl. As you stretch the left leg forward, twist to the right that knee, and then we switch the legs as you twist to the right knee and towards your chest. Try to hold your body here within the framework of your hips and your legs, and legs as straight in out of the socket. Exactly, like you're in a very narrow space here, all the way up to the armpit from your feet. Right, so you twist and you lift and come forward. You come up off the mat and you balance here on a single scapula. This is not a side bending, so you want to keep yourself organized within the framework of your hips. And twisting to your left. Come back to center. Lay yourself down. Oh, we did it. Good job. So stretch the arms back and the legs forward. Just open up that whole front line. There's a lot of flexion in that abdominal series. So from here, we're going to come up to sitting for spine stretch. So you bring the arms forward, coming up, roll up, dive forward here, and you can open the legs and end up sitting with the arms forward parallel to the ground. If your hamstrings are tight, please grab a yoga block and sit yourself up on top of that. Or you can also just bend your knees a little bit if that feels comfortable. So we press the arms down, you lift the chest, and then move down your nose, tipping your chin to your chest. You lead from sort of the back of the head or the halo out, over, and down in a beautiful curve. You're diving out and forward. Almost aim like just in front of the knees, the center of the knees here, and stretch your spine out. Push down with your legs, sink your tail, and you stack your spine from the bottom to the top. Come up to lengthen the abdominal wall and lift the chest, look at the horizon. Look down again. The head moves to pull the 7th cervical vertebra, and you move into that ribcage area, moving the thoracic spine. Then the lumbar spine below it, the waist pulls back as you reach out forward, with the head carrying the shoulders, carrying the arms. Press down to rise. Zip your back up that imaginary wall. And you bring your gaze up gradually until you feel like you're floating in a pool of water, a little bit of salt, makes you nice and buoyant, and we go down over time. Exhale all the way out, over, down. Really sequence the spine so you're not starting from your waist, from the base of the rib cage. You're really starting at the top and moving gradually one vertebra after the other, and then we stack the spine up again, bottom to top. All right, from here you can come off the yoga block if you're on it, and we're moving forward to the front of your mat for open leg balance and rocking. So it's good that you got the extra mat with the thighs. All right, so you can do this with your hands behind your thighs easier. Otherwise, hands to the top of the shins, right above the ankle, and with the edges of your feet together, lift your feet and rock back onto your sacrum. And here we move down towards the heels. Extend the right leg up in the air. Hold your balance, keep your shoulders left, that's good. And then exhale, bring it back down, connect your heels. And other left leg extends. Good job. And then pull it back down. And the right. So this is challenging, right? Because we're doing asymmetrical loading And so maintaining the position of our body while we're balanced just behind our sits bones at the base of the sacrum. Left leg up and then back. Now both legs are going up simultaneously. So they lift. They should be apart just the width of your shoulders, and then exhale, pull them back down and in. Those connect towards the tail, and then reach again. You guys might roll a little bit to the outside as you go up here and then pull it back. We're gonna go one more time and then get ready to rock. So lift the legs up. You can hold on wherever you can reach. Look down at your abs, curl the tail up, pull a little higher, start your rolling back. Exhale, dive forward, and come up. And obviously, you never want to slam the head into the mat. So you have to choose how much effort it takes to go back, and then also how much effort it takes to come up, so you can catch your position and not slam your heels into the ground. So we're rolling back here, the top lies up in the air, and then you bring your chest towards the thighs. Just go for one more. Pulling back here, and exhale and forward. And then fold the legs, close the legs together. We can leave them in the air and either slide the hands down your legs as you roll your spine down, or hands free, to curl your back from the sacrum all the way back up to the shoulders. We lift the leg up to the ceiling for corkscrew. This is easier if you use a fair band around your legs, so you're welcome to do that. So we are going to take the feet over to the right just a little bit, and then bring it forward and around, over to the left, and then lift the legs up as high as you can, right? So ideally we want the feet to be up in the air at the very top of the movement. You're stretching the hamstring. And hopefully the circle is going to be sort of balanced or just above the pelvic floor, the tailbone area. If your hamstrings are tight, you're probably going to need to bend your knees. You will need to bend your knees, or else you can elevate your hips, right, by taking your hands underneath your low back. That's helpful for some people while they work on lengthening the back line of their legs. Every circle is an inhale and exhale, and reaching up as if you're trying to draw a circle on the ceiling above you. We're going to end going from left to right, and then fold the knees into your chest, hug them in here, put the band to the side if you're using it, and now we roll forward and up to come up for saw. So lift and open the legs. Sit up tall. Again, elevate your hips if you feel tight at all, because really you want to be sure you get a lot of mobility in your spine and the stretch you're looking for there. So the arms extend out to the side just a little bit in front of your collarbones. Push the arms down and lift the chest, lift the halo a little higher. Rotate to the right, and then we dive over and down. The back of the left hand to the outside of the right leg. The other arm reaches behind you on a diagonal, the fingers reach long. Pull yourself up. That looks gorgeous. Come around to the other side. So the right hand reaches, you can slide it anywhere you want along that left leg, and try to keep rotating your spine, anchoring down to the right hip, but opening the chest so you're looking out and behind you, look for your back fingertips. Up upright to center, and then spiral again. Dive over and down. Head leads the way, and then you pull that right shoulder blade back a little bit towards the spine, towards the left shoulder blade. So you're not just going forward with your chest to the ground, but you're opening and rotating the upper body, the neck and the head. Lift to come up, center here, and we're going over to the left. Dive forward, so twist out your spine, dive forward, and lift your belly into your lower back. So it's a little bit more of a lifted curve and not just a hip flexion. We'll do one more set. Palm to the ceiling as the arm reaches behind you, coming up. Center, and one more time, over we go. Come all the way upright, unwind the body, lower the arms, close the legs. Okay, and then we're going to flip over onto your stomach for swan, using the roller to make it. So the roller goes across. You stretch the legs out long and flip over onto your stomach. The roll is going to go halfway between the elbow and the wrist, so right at the middle of the floor. And the arms should be, maybe a little wider than your shoulders. Look down, have your ears between your arms. It's easier for most people's backs if the legs are a little bit apart. So we're going to pull the halo forward, the chest forward, bring your gaze across the floor and then up the wall in front of you to lift your upper back into extension, which is a backward bend away from the ground. And you'll feel the stretch in your abs. And then you slowly lower your belly down, your chest down. You're still looking up. And at the very end, you look down, your ears between your arms, your face is off the ground. You want the neck in line with the shoulders, right? So we're going to pull the shoulder blades down the back, engaging the lats. Pull the halo and the eyes forward, coming up. Get that lift here. Pelvis presses into the floor, and then release down. Take your time and let your spine release one vertebra after another. The belly can feel back connected to the mat underneath you. We'll do one last one. So widen the collarbones, propel the head forward, move the eyes forward, up over your roller. The roller's going to come in and sort of teach your spine what it feels like to articulate up and back, one vertebra after the next. And then we're rolling the spine down. And someone took one of these rollers and rolled you out from your glutes across the sacrum, across the waist, down to the shoulders, and finally over the neck. That looked gorgeous, beautiful. So push the roller aside, take your hands by your armpits, push up, and sit back in the child's pose. As long as that feels good for your knees. Otherwise, you lay on your back and pull the knees into your chest. Hang your head here, stretch out your low spine. Right. So from here, we're going to skip single and double and kick and move into shoulder bridge. So we'll lay on our side. I'm going to have some time to do the side kicks with you today. So you're going to lay on your back. And then we'll pull it down to the mat. It can be helpful to use a ball between your thighs so your hamstrings don't cramp, and also so you get more work in your inner thigh muscles. That is always an option that you have here, unless we're doing the kicks. So let's begin by having the feet in line with the hip sockets, in line with your knees, the arms lengthened here. Begin with your pelvic tuck. The tail moves forward and up, the waist presses down. You push back to the heels and down with your feet as you curl the pelvis up, the knees reaching out over the toes. And you end up in first a plank, a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. And then we're going to take the top of the shoulders to the floor, roll a little to the outer arm, and then boost the hips up as you feel the blades pull together underneath you. This takes you into thoracic extension, so you can come up a little higher with the hips. And now roll to the inner arm and feel how the shoulder blades widen under your back. And then you curving the upper back down. Try to get each vertebra one at a time down into the floor. You drape your body down onto the mat. And at the end, when you rock forward so the tail is rounded, you feel the waist lift. And we do it again. Do a very snaky action, a wave-like action with your spine. You lift the tail first, and then you push the knees forward. You propel the hips forward too. Going up first to the plank, and then into the upper back extension by pulling the blades together underneath you and pushing the top outer edge of the shoulder blade into the ground. Gaze is up and slightly back. Your neck should be long so you can breathe here. And then we're going to roll the arms slightly internally, feel the scapula widen. The top of the shoulders curve up slightly off the mat so that you can take the upper back down before you lower the waist, before you lower the low back. The problem with pressing the shoulders down is if you don't come out of it, you're going to plank down instead of articulating down smoothly through the vertebra. Let's go for one more. Actually, for this one, let's practice some marching. So if you have the ball between your legs, take it out. And here we curl the tail up and forward, pull back and down with your feet. You come up, let's lift, then lift the chest and lift the hips some more. Now we're going to pick up the right foot and exhale to lower it. Knees stay bent. Your goal here is to keep the pelvis level, even while you're transferring from your weight from one foot to another, or really from one foot to 2 feet to the other foot, right? So think about when the knee lifts, it's also picking up the pelvic half on that side. And then once you get the foot down, really press the floor down and give yourself that extra lift into that hip if it's fallen at all. This requires a lot of diagonal strength in your body. Your obliques help hold the two pelvic halves level while you're working this, but that takes some time to figure out. left foot down, push down, lift the hips, and then roll to the inner arm and curve your spine all the way down. That marching is a great way to start building strength and awareness and the ability to keep your hips up when you're on one leg as opposed to two. Okay, good. So now from here, let's come forward and up to sitting for spine twist. So you look forward, extend the legs out, flex the feet. You can elevate your hips up again if you feel like you're tight in the back line. So to really lift the heart, lift the chest, and bring the arms out to the side. Feet are flexing together, and they're not going to move as we rotate to the right and pulse 1, 2, 3. Lift to center and then to the left. Twist your body around. Your gaze can look over your fingertips when you rotate, because you also want the rotation in the neck and the cervical spine. Back to center, look straight ahead. Now, the anatomical truth is that when you come back to center, you want to lift up and have your longest part of the spine, but then when you're rotating, you have to allow for a little slackening so the ligaments can actually let go to allow the rotation. So you don't collapse, but you do think of a little softening in your back, in your body, with that rotation and then stretching as you come back to center. You could say if you try to say lift it and twist, you really block your movement, right? So if I try to stay up, 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 and stay taller as I twist, I don't get the same amount of ability. There's only so much spine you can do, just give it a little slack here. Right? And we'll do one more to the left. Hope you all felt that. And then you can bring the arms down. All right, we're going to go into jackknife. So this is an inversion where you're laying on your back and you bring this up in the air. If you haven't tried it before, you can watch a little bit and then see if you want to do it. It's also helpful for the first time to use the roller across under your hips. I'm going to demo that first and then do the regular version. So you lay on your back and lift your hips up. Take the roller underneath you and you have to hold the roller steady. You pull the knees into your chest, and this would be the same if you're on the floor too. Extend the legs up to the ceiling. So you might want to bring the legs a little bit forward, not overarching the back, but just to give you a bit of a runway access to the movement. And then you start to bring the legs up, push the arms down, to come up and lift your hips in the air. Now you're balanced on your shoulders, not on your neck, right? And then you slowly bring it down. Push into the arms. Try to resist gravity on the way to the ground. It's important when you do this exercise that you not turn your head. You want to keep your gaze steady and above you. And when you can do it with your hips elevated, then you can practice it from the ground. So let's go out a little bit. So the momentum to come up and over. Typically we start low with the legs and then bring them up higher. And then maybe lower them to bring your spine down. Use your exhale to bring the hips up and sort of try to throw the legs behind you. Just gonna go help someone in the class. Everyone keep doing this. Come up and move up. So it's a little bit more from the back as it goes up. And then you come down and you keep pressing into the arms so you can find that little relax. And yeah, when I was first told to do this, it's not possible ever. So then you will come up, go back. There it is, very good. And then bring it down. Good work, everyone. And you can come on off when you're ready. All right. So after jackknife, we get to lay on our sides for some side kicks. You stretch out on my right side and support your head with your hand. So the heel of the hand is sort of right tucked in behind the ear on that bit of the skull. And you want to be sure that your head and your sacrum are sort of in the same line. You can press the free hand, the top hand into the mat in front of you and bring the legs about 30 degrees forward, flexing the feet. Now, particularly if you just started, this is the hand position. As you advance, very advanced goes to both hands behind the head. That it's only useful if you can keep your body stable here on the mat. So for today, I'm going to demo this and maybe some of the other. So we lift the top leg up, hip height, Flex the foot and bring the leg forward. Now, the hip stays back. You're not rounding your low back. You're keeping the same neutral curve of the spine as you pulse. Point the foot, take the leg back. And again, here, we're not leaning forward. I'm not going forward because the leg is going back. I'm keeping the neutral body and then pulling the leg behind me using my glute. And then you can flex to go forward, double beat. Point the foot to take it back and reach and pulse. This will require you to really press the bottom leg into the ground. And for more stability, it's helpful to really pull the body long. So pull the head out into the halo, reach the foot out into space. Let's do one more. Double pulse forward, point the foot, take it back, double pulse back. Good work. Come back to center, lower down. Now, we rotate the leg externally, point the foot and kick the leg up in the air, flex and bring it down heel to heel. Point to lift, flex to close. Point up, flex and down, reverse the foot. Flex, kick it high, point, stretch it away. Heel to heel, flex, lift. If you really reach out to the leg, you'll feel like your waist maybe lift a little off the ground, all the way down, double okay. So we bend the knee up, we slide the foot in, bring the armpit, extend the leg up to the ceiling, flex the foot and push it down, heel kisses heel. Point the foot, slide. Lift the knee, extend the leg, flex the foot, and press out and away. One more. It's common in this exercise for people to pull their butt back a little bit in order to get the leg higher. Just think you can keep the leg a little bit forward of your torso, right? So now reverse. Flex, go up, point the foot, bend the knee, skate the leg down, stretch it out, flex at the end. We lift. Point the foot, bend the knee, and then slide it down. Feel lengthen your waist as well as your leg. Once more to go up, point, bend, all the way forward and down. And now for round and round. This is a big circle. This is the hardest one to keep your balance on your sideline. So you can start with your hand pressed into the mat in front of you if you wish. We lift the leg hip height. Soft point, bring it forward, rotate it externally. Now you hold your body perfectly stable here on your sideline as you take the leg behind you and pull it through center. So this is good. Do it really slowly. It's helpful to push into the hand and pull your supporting elbow in slightly towards your chest. So you can feel that you're not rocking your body at all. Good. And then you can pick up the pace. You can also try hands here if you've been doing this. Of course, you know where your working level is. Let's do one more. If you're feeling that the body is rocking, like usually it wants to rock forward, the leg is back. And that's often not only because of the balance, but also because of tightness in the hip flexor in your psoas. Let's come to center and reverse. So watch as the leg goes back. Do not lift your body, lean forward, rotate it up, forward, and around. So this means that for all of us when we start, the circles are smaller. As you increase your stability, your ability to stabilize on your sideline, which is super difficult, and also increase your flexibility, the circles will get larger. But do yourself a favor and stay within your working level, which is often really small when you start. This is a hard thing to do correctly. It's easy to do it wrong. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. So from here, let's go onto your stomachs for grasshopper. We're going to practice one leg at a time first. So onto your belly, overlap your hands, rest your forehead on your hands, and you press the bottom of the pelvis into the mat. Lift the right leg up, keep the knees straight as you can, and exhale to lower the leg with control. Now the left. The left hip bone presses into the mat. That way you work from your glute, and then you lower. Right leg again. And then down. Now the left. Notice you're lifting the thigh, you're not just lifting the lower part of the leg, the shin, right? And as you drop the tail down, as you lift the leg, you're going to keep it out of your low back and into your glute. All right, so now externally rotate the legs, lift them both, and you clap, open and close. Good thing we warmed up those glutes. One more breath. And then lower, child's pose. Or down, come up, scoot back, lengthen the arms forward. If the knees are together, you'll get more rounding in your back. If you want a little more hip opening, pull the knees wider apart and then drop down between your legs. Some of this will depend on your structure. Be sure you only do what feels really good for you. can be challenging, but it should never hurt you. Okay, so we're coming on up to do the other side for the side flips. Right. So I think that's what you just did. So now you bring your head towards me and your feet in the other direction, and then you'll be perfect. I know. I get confused in this all the time, particularly when I'm working with the camera or in the studio with mirrors. I go, which way was I? So prop your head up, stretch the spine long, pull your bottom elbow in a little bit so you get your tricep, your lat, serratus into your external glutes. The legs come forward, maybe 30 degrees, look straight ahead. You can start with the hands spread wide and pushing into the ground by your chest. Lift the top leg, both feet flexed. Inhale, kick it forward, pulse 1, 2. Point the foot, take it back, reach back and pulse 1 and 2. And then flex to go forward, double beat. Point to stretch it back, double pulse. Good. We're experienced. Hands go behind your head. It's all about your ability to recruit the right muscles, to stabilize against the length, the weight, the tightness in your leg and hip. One more here. And then we come back to center, lower the leg. We rotate externally, point the foot to kick the leg up, flex the foot, and then bring it down, heel kisses heel. So imagine you've got like a big rubber band or a TheraBand tied around your legs. And as you lift, you have to pull it open, feel that resistance, and then resistance snapping shut. Now we reverse the foot, flex to lift, point, and press it out and down. Keep this top hip forward, stacked on the bottom one. Going up, point, and take it down. One more. To lift, point, and stretch it down. Double peg, and then you slide the leg in, knee to the armpit, foot to the ceiling, flex and reach out and down. Heel touch to heel. Pull, lift, extend, and reach. Good, one more. Like it feels really good to try to pull the head away from your leg as you reach the foot away from your hip. Now reverse, going up with the flex foot, point the foot, bend the knee, skate it down the bottom leg, flex and lift, point bend, press it all the way forward and down, flex and let it rise, point bend, stretch it forward. Let's do one more. Go up, point bend, exhale, lengthen, and now we rock on. Remember, you can always take your hand here in front of your chest and circle forward, up, around, back, and through center. And you can have a very different experience on one side versus the other. Sometimes it depends on how your pelvic pads are set, but if one is slightly rotated forward or back, that may affect how you can balance here on your sideline. Do one more like this. Remember, hold the torso steady and just stretch the leg away from it. Sounds easy, super difficult to do it correctly and well. Now bring it back, rotate the leg externally, forward, around, and through center. And we reach again. I know you feel this work in this glute, right? And in the upper outer thigh, the glute medius. Let's do one more. Stretch the whole body away from your center, and then come back to center with the leg. Okay, excellent job. So here we go. We're coming up to sitting, just to do a little bit of the teaser preparation. So we're going to sit up and grab your TheraBand. It was here someplace. So again, we're going to do this exercise from a pelvic tuck, right? So that means that you pull the tail forward to sit behind your sits bones and back onto your glutes, and then sort of to the base of the sacrum. What we're doing here is you'll take the band around the soles of your feet, around both feet at the bottom of the foot. And you want to be pretty tight with the band. See how it goes when you get into position. So first we suck the waist back, we fall back towards your sacrum, and then you can lift the feet up and bring the feet up, knees are bent in, pretty tight to your chest. And you hold the legs zippered together. Now the first thing we're going to practice is just pressing the leg away without moving the upper body. Oh, I didn't say that. So see, can you keep the torso where it is and push the leg out, the double leg out, and then pull it back? This is something you might even practice like at home, just like an inch away from a wall, so that if you lean back at all, then you know it. You hit the wall. But you don't hit it. You lean into it. Good. Yeah, rest when you need to. Okay, and then let's lower the heels down. Good. So with that, that's complicated, right? Your psoas is supporting your body into this deep flex position, and then you're asking it to extend the legs, like to pay out to extend the legs and then to pull them in without changing what it's doing in the upper part of the body. Right? Because the psoas muscle can either pull the leg to you, pull the torso to the leg, or pull the torso and the legs towards each other. So this is asking a lot for it to hold you up and still maintain stability in the upper body while you're moving the legs forward and back. So a lot of Pilates is, what do you stabilize? What do you move? How do you organize that? So now we're going to have the feet in the air, and you start to tuck and go back a little bit with your body. Hold the feet exactly where they are. Curve your spine down, and then pull yourself up. And here, the goal is to imagine your feet on that wall and not move your feet as you go. Roll your spine down and then pull your spine back up. So using the arms for sure, but you're also using your abs and your psoas, your deep hip flexor. So we roll back again. The arms stay out and then pull yourself up. It's also helpful to really have the right amount of tension on the band, right? If it's too loose, it's not going to be as assisted. And then lower the heels. And then you can open the knees, round your back forward, to stretch it out in case you need a little bit of release there. We're coming back up. And now we're doing more of the traditional teaser, starting from the top. So first thing you need to do is tuck and then start to break the low back down, and then you're going to push the legs away as a counterweight. And then pull the knees in as you pull the torso up. You need to pay out a little bit to go all the way down. So tuck, extend the legs. Now, if you're doing the full teaser, the heels will go down and the tip of the shoulder blades too. You're in the upper up curl. And you lay the shoulder, neck, and head back. Then you would lift head, neck, and shoulders, upper up curl, and then pull the legs up. And then you can fold them in as necessary. Good. If this bothers your back, stop, and we can discuss it after class. So tucking your back. You only want to go in the range where your back feels fine. Now, your abs may be yelling at you. They may be screaming a little bit, and that's all good. And one more time. Lengthen to reach. Only go as far as you want. I'm showing all the way to the ground, but that's not necessary. You get plenty of work just doing like a 3 to 4 inch movement. Right? And then let's come on out of it. All right, shake out your hands. That's tough with your hands on the band. Hopefully everyone feels great and you had a good time. Thank you so much for coming to class today. It's great to see you all.